All right, we are back with another great episode right here in the city of Mississauga, having real conversations, conversations with B, meaning me, Banu. And today's guest is a guest that I was asked, actually, not asked, but said, hey, Banu, you need to really connect with this person because what she's able to do in the world of healing and music, she has a special gift. And prior, I had a guest by the name of Narayan who came on, and he definitely spoke great about our next guest, Bettina. I hope I'm saying your name correctly, Bettina.
Yeah.
And, so I reached out, and I just never know where my guests are going to be. So at the moment, she is in Ibiza. So it's my first guest from Ibiza. And I sort of teased Bettina. I'm like, "Are you there to go party? Like, what's going on here?" Right? She's like, "No, I'm on the North Island. It's completely different." So before I introduce Bettina, I just want to let our listeners know that she's a voice teacher, she's a musician, emerging thought leader, vocal expression, self leadership, and we need a lot of that right now because the world is going through a change right now, and I'm sort of like the person who connects people to other people. And it's been great because I get to learn wonderful things from all of our guests. So, Bettina, welcome to Keeping It Real Conversations with me. So, welcome on board.
Thank you, Bano. It's wonderful to be here. Thank you for
Yeah,
having me. Yeah.
yeah. So, like I had mentioned in our intro, I was speaking to Narayan, who also has a healing, I'll call it a biome in Hawaii, where he actually, supports those who need healing through frequency. And he has this chair by Dr. Jefferson Thomas. And then your name came up, and then how he connected with you, and this whole. He was talking about ayahuasca. He goes, I know somebody who, instead of taking ayahuasca, through her music, she takes these people on a wonderful journey. I'm like, who is this person? And so I reached out to you. So I really want to get into all of that. But let's talk about what are you doing in Ibiza at the moment? What's going on there?
That's a good question. I'm not exactly sure what I'm doing here, but life brought me here. And Banu, I came here in the 90s, in 1999. I was young, and I left Germany because I felt something was missing in the life I had in Germany, which was a very much down to earth 9 to 5 working kind of in the music industry business. And there was just an inner voice at one point saying, okay, I need to get out of here. I need to find this missing piece. And it brought me to this island because I chose this island at that time because I was speaking Spanish.
Mm.
And so when I arrived here, that's another story, but um, I spent 13 years of my life here and it was wonderful. And then in 2012, I decided to go to the United States for further studies on the voice and sound and music. And that's also when I met Narayan and we moved out to Hawaii. And so from 2012 to 2020, I was basically in the United States. I was born there. So I have dual citizenship, German and American. And then in 2020, I decided to come back to Europe because of COVID and I wanted to be closer to my mom and felt, if something happens, it takes me 2 days to fly from Hawaii to Romania, where she's located. So I said, okay, I'm going to go to Ibiza because I have friends here and probably have a place to stay. And I know people, know my way around. I'm just going to land there. And then for sure, life will bring me to another place because I've done Ibiza. So it's 5 years. I'm still here. And obviously, there's still something here for me. And that's why I said I'm not sure what it is, but I'm very grateful to be in a place like this because it has quite some magic to it. It's very natural. There's a natural side, especially here in the north. So, and what I'm doing here is just enjoying the peace and the silence. Yeah, because we this place, as you mentioned before, the we are going through some changes and there's a lot going on everywhere. And this is like a tiny little spot on the planet where everything is calm, at least in my world. So that's what I'm doing here, being calm.
We need that, the calmness. Absolutely. I remember
Mm,
years ago, I was listening to this instructor, somebody who's enlightened, and he even said, he goes, even countries, they are also they have their own energy blueprint. Either they're very masculine or they're very feminine. And he had mentioned that a lot of the islands have this feminine energy, and so when people go to these places, right, they connect to Mother Earth a little bit more.
mm,
The sand, the beaches, the oceans, right? When you come to like major metropolitan cities, it could be New York, Toronto, San Francisco. It's a concrete jungle, very
mhm.
masculine, goal driven. This is what we need to do. But when you go to these islands, you reconnect with Mother Nature. You know that
Yeah.
feminine, caring, nurturing, and we all need that. So good for you to
Hmm.
doing what you need to do.
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know yeah. When I was speaking to Narayan, he even mentioned that in the earlier days you would also go to hospitals and assist patients through your music.
Hmm.
uh, can we talk about that?
Yeah, of course. That has been a big part in my life and just came up recently as I was visiting some friends down the road. But that is also it's a wonderful story actually because I got into music in India. I was traveling to
Ah.
India. When I moved here, just 6 months later, I started to become an Ashtanga yoga practitioner, and I got really into it. I mean, very obsessed nearly, and it brought me to India. And while I was in India, I fell in love with the sound of the sitar.
Mm.
Like literally, fell in love with the sound of the sitar. Found my guruji, but my teacher, sitar teacher, stayed in India, came back with the sitar, and never left that instrument out of my hands, basically, until today. So I started playing and singing, and I also, at that point, became really ill. Not because I was in
Mm.
India, even though I always get sick when I'm in India,
Yeah.
but I was diagnosed with a health condition, and it was quite a strong process to go through. And it was intense, but also for me, it also was a gift
Mm.
because I was able to drop into my body and I had the possibility to not go the natural way of treating myself chemically, let's say. I felt very strongly the again an inner voice that was saying this is an opportunity to really work with something different. Yeah, as for example, sound and music and all of this. So I don't want to go into all those details, but what I noticed, because I was really not well, and the only thing I could do was playing music. Yeah, so I could feel how the sound of my voice and the sound of the sitar or the guitar, whatever I was doing, was kind of moving energy in the body.
Wow.
So that was Banu in 2005 or something. So the whole sound healing, vocal exploration kind of stuff wasn't yet out there. So I was really intrigued in finding more information, and I did. But that was also the reason why a few years later I went to the States to study and investigate more. So in that process of healing myself, finding sound and music and vibration as a healing tool, and I never actually felt it for me being a performative thing, music. It was more about sharing and creating spaces. I felt really drawn to bring that energy to people who can't come out or to places where this is provided. Also, I had a friend of mine who helped me very much, even it was very intense. What she said to me, she says, if you really want to get better, get over yourself and go and see people who are worse. And I said, oh my God, I'm not good. But something stick there. And I was well enough to actually go and then bring that music. And one other part that's included in there is that, yes, At that time, I did started to work with the plant medicine ayahuasca, which also helped me on a physical level. And that was also in 1999, 2000. It wasn't out. I mean, no shaman, no bottles were out of the jungle. And for me, it was a way to really go into the deeper levels of my physical being. And of course, not of course, but the music was coming through, lots of songs. And so I also brought that into the elderly homes and hospitals, because I felt those people won't ever be able to come and join a ceremony, whether it's with or without the plant. So we have to bring the ceremony there. So I always like to, you know, how you say, open the box. Yeah, open that ayahuasca sacred. We are all in sitting in one circle box, and bring it where it's perhaps also needed. No.
Yeah, where it's needed. And not everybody likes to go to hospitals because it's
Mm.
not a safe place. My father, he passed away last year, and he was in ICU for a very long time. And you see the good, you see the bad, you see the ugly, you see everything. And yeah, he fought for 8 months in ICU, and then it's like, okay, it's time to go. So he had gone. So we experienced as a family a lot of stuff in ICU,
Hmm.
and yeah, so you get to see everything. And just to, I mean, the only form of uh, some relatedness to the wonderful work that you did, but I can't even compare it. Was basically we just had a social worker come in and say, "Hey, is there anything I can help you with?"
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
no, you can't. Like, what do you want? But to know that there you are. I don't know if you bring your sitar inside the the patient's room, or is it just music that you were playing? But I'm sure it definitely aided in whatever those patients needed, and a little break as well from what's going through. And I wish, like a lot of hospitals, I know there's few hospitals in Australia that actually use form of Reiki energy healing as well
Hmm.
too in hospitals. And why not music, right? So what would you bring there? Is it just musical? Are you bringing your instruments? Is it like, what is it that you were doing in those rooms, patient
Well,
rooms?
I can send you a video from that time, because somebody made a little movie. And no,
Oh,
I brought myself and the instruments and the voice.
wow.
And because I created an association, a nonprofit, I received donations, and I could bring other musicians. So it
Oh,
became a weekly thing. And I was very passionate about it. I thought I'm going to change the whole hospital system
yeah.
in Ibiza,
How's
and
that going?
take take out these TVs with stupid
Yeah.
promotion for soap in the rooms of the people, and just bring musicians. Yeah, bring musicians, bring essential oils. Even, of course, but sometimes there are people who are having conditions, they're allergic to essential oils, so is a protocol also. But it I failed, yeah, because I can't go again, you know change these kind of things. But I'm still I'm an end of life volunteer. So I do sit with people at the end of life. I help them dying, so to speak. I'm present with them.
Yeah.
And I hear you on, especially in the hospitals, in the facilities, it can get really ugly and dark when it comes to caring and just emotionally being present with people, and ask them questions. How are you feeling today? Yeah, like, really. And all of this. So we could have another talk about all
No,
of
but
that.
it's true.
Yeah.
Like what I was just hearing, Bettina, is that here you were, what is that, David against Goliath, right? They're trying to conquer this whole medical system.
Yeah.
I'm going to bring in musicians, and
Yeah.
like, what happened to, like, we need more of that, but
Mm.
the system is such that you can't penetrate it because they have rules, regulations, they have policies, they have this and that. And I think the world that we're going into, hopefully soon, people are reaching out and finding different healing modalities. And the way I like to, and I share this example many times, it's like, you and I, or maybe I did share this with you actually on the phone a week ago. It's like going to a candy store, a chocolate store. I want Kit Kat, you want something else, great. At the end of the day, you got your chocolate fix, and I got mine. Just like with healing modalities, there's so many different stations that we can tune into. If this one works, great. If that one doesn't work, then I'm going to try this one. We need to bring all that back, and I feel that a lot of cultures around the world actually have their own healing modalities, but the people out there have sort of suppressed everything. We're
Mm.
going to get into frequency, we're going to get into music, there's reiki, there's energetic healing, there's somatic body healing, there's so much. And we talked about emotions being trapped in our bodies, and if we don't release them, they sort of run the show. So I can see the wonderful work that you're doing, and it's just awesome.
No, okay, thank you. Yes, yes, yes. I love working with people,
Yeah.
and I suppose that this is. I always was interested, even when I was a teenager, in gathering
Oh,
people and listening to their stories and anything that moves them.
yeah.
Yeah. And so
Totally.
I had that as a kid already, that I loved figuring things out with people. Okay, what can we do about it? Yeah, solutions and all of this. So,
And that's what Germans are really good at. They're very good at finding solutions, because you know what? I don't know. Like, there's a product that I use, and I don't know if you've ever heard of it. I'm just going to show it to you here. It's called Healy. I don't know if you've heard of that.
Healy?
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
called
yeah, of
Healy.
course.
Yeah, so
Healy.
it's all based on frequencies that
Yes.
the any sickness, anything that we digest, it all converts into some type of frequency, and the body accepts it.
Hmm.
So, and the founder of this is somebody who's German, and he was a monk in India. I think he spent, I don't know, I'm guessing, I think it was like almost a decade, I believe. And
Hmm.
he was a physicist in quantum theory, so he combined spirituality and science together, and then came
Yes.
up with this product. And Germans are fantastic. They're very precise. They want to find the solutions. So when you had mentioned that you were German, I'm like, ah, man, yeah, they're good,
Mhm.
man. They know everything. They're very detail oriented, and now I see a lot of Germans, like they're really into this whole holistic healing, and finding ways to reconnect with their body, surrendering, and taking trips to India, like
Yeah, taking trips, the Germans in India. Yeah, I mean the German quality, like what you just mentioned, combining science with spirituality. For sure, it's not just German
yeah,
related, but for me, coming from that, let's say, bloodline, I like to visualize and to be a philosopher
mm,
about the things that I believe are true. And if that can be backed up by science, not that I need proof because I can feel it in my body, whatever healing is happening, especially if I put myself into a certain mode, whether it's fasting or panchakarma or just meditation. Um, if that can be backed up by science, then I'm happy. And the good news is, especially when it comes to sound and frequency and energy, especially in the United States, there are many people, lots of colleagues of mine who are actually scientists and very devoted to the effects of sound. So it's wonderful when these two things can come together. A little bit what Narayan has with his chair, you just see on the screen, how's your heartbeat going and all of this. And then after the sound healing session in the chair, let's see how it's going now. Yeah. And so you're taking it directly from the body. But coming back to the German culture, I mean, I had to really um, make friends with my German ancestry
mm,
for many reasons. But I was a couple of years investigating a little bit more on the German culture and also the healing aspect of the Germanic folks, like what was their modality, because if
right.
many cultures, it's completely lost. Yeah, there are no books, there are no songs of the Germans and their ways of healing each other or working with plants. There was a big witch hunt, yeah, in
Oh,
Europe and especially in Germany. And so what I learned in my research, which funny enough my teacher in India helped me to discover. And other people, there's this guy called Wolf Dieter Stoll, who's in his 80s by now, but he knows everything about every plant. Yeah. But what we discovered is that the Germanics in the old times, I forgot the number of which year it was, but before the Romans came, were a feminine tribe. Yeah, they were pagans and they were worshiping the forest, especially the trees. So the scientists and the astronomers, the doctors were all women. Yeah. So and and they were feared by other tribes because of their high of the not just the intelligence but the wisdom and the somatic experience of the bigger knowledge or God, which was just intelligence, divine intelligence. And so when the Romans came, of course, they completely freaked out on that. And they were also building church. They destroyed the pagan sites, sacred sites, and put churches. So while I was traveling in Germany through COVID a little while ago, there are all these sacred sites. Few are still standing, but where previously where a sacred pagan German site is now a church, old church. So to think about that, okay, this is where I'm actually coming from. I feel if more of us really discover their bloodlines, yeah. So then, and just want to give an example. Now we have all these tribes coming from South America with the plant medicine, with the ayahuasca, and they bring their beautiful songs and they basically share their innate connection with nature. Yeah, which is wonderful. And so there are lots of Americans, lots of people just basically worshiping them, yeah, which is wonderful because they feel, okay, there's a connection they have with the land and they can feel it. And though I think we need to go even a little bit deeper and really discover one by one, what's my connection to the earth, what's my connection to which kind of plants, yeah, because that's where lots of healing can happen as well on a more systemic level as well, yeah.
Absolutely.
I think, I mean, this is just, I just make it up, what my experience is in my own path. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's interesting. But Tina, like speaking to, I have a good friend. She's like a mentor of mine, and she doesn't live too far away from here, about 40 minutes away. And she would also resonate and sort of very similar to what you're saying. Like it wasn't only the German culture, but many cultures around the world, women were considered very sacred, connected to the earth, and they were the household. They were the person in charge. Any concerns or anything, you go speak to the woman. She was the main post of a household. And then through time and everything else, things do change over time. And this is where, like you said, we lose our history. And then
Mm.
it's on us to go back and find out what was our history.
Hmm.
And I didn't know that about the German, from your story that you're sharing with the information that you gathered
Hmm.
about that. This is something new that I'm learning, and it's beautiful. And I think more people somewhere are willing to do that. They want that. They like, what are the roots? And I think that we're living in such amazing times where it's a fight, good versus evil, call it whatever you want, but we're going back to our roots. We're connecting, we're letting go, we're shedding everything. And I love the story that you shared. It's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
It is. And then you said that a while ago, or when you were a kid, it was always innate, you know collecting, hearing stories. Were you one of those special kids also who was able to sense, feel frequencies, see things that were abnormal, and you kept quiet? Like, were you one of those childs as well? A lot of the guests that I come on, usually the healing falls into two categories. I found one is that they have this huge traumatic event, something happens. For some of them, it could be some type of sexual abuse or some trauma, whatever in their family, and then the light turns on and now they see everything. Others,
Mm.
it's been part of them.
Yes. Yeah. I think that can be a catalyst. Yeah. For people to connect to their own healing
Yeah.
modality, self-healing through the body. And Banu, I think we all come from that place.
Mm,
Yeah, we all come from some sort of traumatic event, and whether life is taking us in that direction or in that direction, we walk the path of the wounded healer or not. It- Whatever life has in store for us. Yeah, what I've discovered, when we talk about the wound, yeah, the people who got wounded, where it's not so much about healing this
mm,
wound, but to explore it as a
mm,
landscape. So if we are lucky enough and we have that karmic fortune to be strong enough to be present with all those layers of healing, yeah, that some of, so it's intense, can be very intense, whether it's coming through a physical, like a health condition, or any other traumatic event, then yeah, I think those people are bound to be here, to be present with the what people need as an individual, or as humanity. And yes, definitely, I was a very quiet kid, yeah, and for many reasons, and kind of became really rebellious as a teenager with everything, smoking, drinking, drugs, the whole
yeah.
thing, and then completing one cycle after the other, and it all had to be happen in that way, for me to experience all those different aspects of myself, from being the victim to being the one who's hurting others, to seeing it all, saying no to it, saying yes to it, so. And I love the self-healing journey, and for me, it's a great joy to work with people and see and feel the transformation
Mm,
within them. Yeah, and you were talking about self leadership, to people owning their own authority
mm.
and sovereignty and self healing ability, and to, yeah, um,
That's where the journey starts, the self autonomy, the taking that leadership. And I know, speaking to even Narayan, I had brought up the fact that, a lot of us don't know how to surrender because we live in
mm,
this fear based world. And surrender is fearing because we don't know what's going to happen next almost. But the
mm,
moment we sort of surrender with whatever's holding us back, we accept whatever that fear, that consequence is, whatever it is. And then if we can be present with it, the healing begins, right? And I've learned that myself the hard way as well. Everybody has their own journeys. And the more you start to surrender through not fearing of what's going to happen on the other side, that's where the breakthroughs happen. It's like, people say getting out of your comfort zone. And, sometimes we think that it's all about go, 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 go. Yeah, there's a time to do that. And there's time to just sit back and sort of surrender to what's coming and accepting, feeling, and shedding and letting go. And how this sort of connects with everything that you do. You talk
mm,
about the voice, you're a musician. How did this all sort of, like, you have this history, your story. How did this then come into the world of healing for you when it comes to music and frequency? So where was that connection, and how did this start for you?
mm. Yeah, that's a good question. I think I was always interested in meditation even more than the voice or music.
Mm,
Yeah, because I'm really much more intrigued and fascinated with what's the energy behind the voice,
mm,
what's the energy behind the music or a song. Yeah, or what is the who's thinking.
mm,
Yeah, when it comes, for example, what you're saying in terms of surrendering and fears. Yeah, the good old fears, and where are these fears coming from? Yeah, or limiting beliefs, or when it comes to, okay, expanding our lives, or even voicing our truth. What is it that's actually holding us back to surrender? Yeah,
mm.
what is it that is limiting my beliefs or my dreams, or stopping me from imagining? Yeah. So I found that very, very interesting. So, the beautiful story around the music is that music has the capacity, or I can speak for many genres of music, I suppose, but I've always been into very meditative music, or creating songs that speak about that which is difficult to put into words,
Mm,
let's say. So when that's coming through in my own body, then there are no thoughts, there are no beliefs, whether it's limiting or not limiting, it's a space. And so to just be in that space by singing, or being surrounded by people singing, that's just fascinating, and it's wonderful, because then it is just the living proof, or the embodied proof of spirit being there, reflected within sound, within music. And everything that we try to heal is not doesn't need healing anymore, it is healed. Yeah, which also is not about, bypassing or pretending it's not there, but is a part within us that's healed, and that's already transformed and good. Yeah, even though we still have to move through the healing process, of course, but there's also a part that can just observe and be present, like you say, be present with the process.
mm,
So I love to give a voice to that part that's already healed, to assist all the parts that have to follow and heal. And it gives some lightness to, or let's say, I believe, or I trust that in every human being, and every soul has that vibration of light and pureness.
mm,
And whatever our individual story is, or the story of a country or a continent or whatsoever, that's just the story. But life as such has something else to offer. Yeah. And of course, we there are the fears of the unknown. Yeah. So there's Jesus that helps us to point towards God, but to directly be with God is kind of yeah, better to have like some kind of figure. And yeah, so it's that kind of thing that we create, some sort of filter, to not allow ourselves to completely surrender to the unknown. And the funny thing is, just to complete this, Banu, is in the end, we all go. I mean, that's why I'm an end of life volunteer, because it reminds me to stay on track as I get a little bit, diluted myself or distorted with, oh, I have to do this, and oh my God, and taxes, and all that stuff that this 3D dimension is bringing us. We are all going from here to here, and this is just temporary. It's just an experience. And when we can have that perception, we are very lucky, and we are very fortunate. And if somebody can't have that perception for whatever reason, to assist, yeah, and to hold the hand. If somebody says, can you take my hand, I'm really freaking out, I'm scared, yes, I'm going to take your hand, because in the end, we all, Ramda said that we all just walk each other home. That's what it
mm.
is, in this life.
It is. And then in this life, we all connect with people for 1 minute or 20 years, and we're supporting, guiding each other. They come in our lives to teach us a lesson, or we're there to teach them a lesson. So somewhere, somehow, everyone is connecting with whom they need to connect with to go back home, to move on and take the next step. So, no, it totally makes sense. In your story that you were sharing, Bettina, you had mentioned, you know, how wonderful it is when people can get together and sort of cohesively connect through music. And when you were sharing that part, I'm thinking about, like, in Hinduism, like, people will go to mandir, and we don't have seating. We sit on the floor, and people will do kirtans, and they will sing, and they feel connected, and the joy is coming through, and then people leave feeling much better. So when you were sharing that, I sort of connected with that.
Mhm.
And when I was speaking to Narayan, he said, Bettina has a special ability where people will go and, or maybe it was his story that he shared. Like, do we really have to take some type of concoction to drink to feel this, like to see plants coming to life? But then through this healing frequency circle, he was saying that Bettina has this music, this frequencies where a person can sort of just become one with music, and they get into this trance. Is
Hmm.
this what the work that you're working on? What is the connection there? If I can say, yeah, it's a yeah.
Well, I think you know the answer by yourself. I think as human beings, I think there's nothing more psychedelic than the human being, the
Yeah.
body. And I feel that whether it's plant medicine or mushrooms or whatever people are taking to try to have a other state experience, they just show us what's actually already
Mm,
there. Yeah, so sometimes people get lost in this. Okay, I have to go to another ceremony, drink another cup, da, da, da.
yeah.
And so the music, when it comes to sharing with other people in the space of music, and you know that from the kirtan,
Yeah.
like when, yeah, there's just that energy of light and bliss and devotion, and it also connects people. Yeah, we are living in great times of separation and war. Yeah, so we there's this sensation of disconnection. So just feeling connected to others doesn't matter, which country with which culture, especially when many different people are coming together in music.
Mm,
It's so you can feel how we are all connected, and it's all
yes.
one. Yeah, we are all one, and the essence of humanity comes out through music. And to be honest, I don't know what I'm doing. Also, to be honest, I'm kind of retiring. I mean, I'm noticing I'm not that. I'm very enthusiastic about
Yeah.
everything still, but to go and gather people and let's do another song circle or a
Yeah.
voice workshop or this and that, or concerts or whatsoever, to present or to manifest it, it's like yeah. So but at the times where I didn't want to do anything else, that was my purpose. Yeah, it was my purpose and still is my purpose, to create a space for healing, for transformation, and for connection, especially in these times on the planet. Yeah, because I just trust, and I'm a great believer, not that everything is changing tomorrow and we are moving towards change, or like, I mean, everything is changing all the time. Yeah. But I'm not thinking about how it could be or how it should be. And though, as I said before, there is a place within each human being, within anybody who's living on
Mm,
this planet, also the people included that we don't like, which is, there's a connection. Yeah. We all have some kind of pure source within.
yeah.
And not that it gives me hope, because hope is kind of okay, maybe, yeah, but it's just like physics.
Mm,
Nearly, it's physics. And when music comes into that, yeah, and the music somehow brings forth the truth of life,
mm.
and that kind of allows the stories to fade away. Yeah. So when
It
the
does.
truth, yeah, and so in music I feel, because the feeling we have when we, for example, uh, tears are coming through when I hear a song. Yeah,
Mm,
those tears, yeah, like good, like beautiful tears. Where are they coming from? Like that feeling in the body, for example. Yeah, when it's like something is just like bursting. Yeah, those emotions, they're so precious.
they
Yeah.
are precious. It's absolutely true. And when you were talking about music, and now I don't know, even the music that we hear today, on our cars and wherever we hear music these days on our phones, even the frequency that they're actually being transmitted through has an impact as well. I
Hmm.
met this individual. He's from Arizona, from the U.S., and he was able to, through his technology, be able to put music at the right frequency, which is 4.32. versus what it's normally. I think it's a little higher. And when I don't know, I don't remember what he said, but that frequency of sound creates division and separation. And when you bring music through its proper channels, I believe he said it was 4.32, it's complete. You can actually feel the song, the lyrics, the instruments penetrating your body. Like you can feel it. So when I heard this, I'm like, this is fascinating. This is really, really fascinating. So I spent some time at his booth and he was explaining this whole process. I'm actually looking at the speakers that I have now. So anytime I play music, it comes to the 4.32 hertz, and you can hear just like everything, the quality of the song, the lyrics, completely different level. Like even music, I don't know how much you are aware, it's been distorted on purpose. They change the frequency so that way people can divide and experience what they need to experience. So I just wanted to share that. I don't know if you were aware of that or not.
Yeah, yeah. There's a 432 and 440,
Oh
and
yeah,
it's a big theme in
yes,
the amongst musicians. What is what, and
yeah,
why this and why that? And I always play in 432 because I don't know what 20 years ago
yeah.
I heard from well, you should tune to 432 because it's more connected to the earth. And
That's right.
I'm still a hippie kind of. All right, then let's be closer to the earth. So 432, and I never changed.
Yeah,
Only recently, I
yeah.
tuned into 440 because I'm recording a new album, and there are many other musicians playing who don't only play in 440, or their instruments are
Yeah.
not. You can't tune them into 432. It's difficult for them. So, in terms of noticing the difference, yes, I can notice the difference in my body. Um, but and in the same time I'm not 100% certain about separating the people, because there's something else in music that whether it's 432, 440, or 108,
Yeah,
whatever, um, that still does the job.
yeah.
But if that would be a science project, for sure, lots of great information would come out. And my Guruji in India told me that before any instrument was made, the only instrument that was present was the human voice. And the human voice is closer to 432 than to 440.
Mm,
He's like 432 it is. 440 was invented
yeah,
later on when the Western instruments like the
right.
piano and all of this was invented. So, and then of course, people make up stories around all of that. But
Yeah. No, they
yeah.
do. They certainly do. I want to transition into the work that you do now. The voice method and how it sort of supports and heals people with their somatic body, their nervous system, and I guess somehow you've been able to harness this to assist people in the healing recovery. Can we get into like what is this voice method approach you use, the somatic healing, the nervous system, and how that all works?
Yeah, it's everything that you've just said, and I'm working with many, many different people with their voice.
Okay.
Also, people who are public speakers, for example.
Mm,
Of course, people who have like a sensation that they need to use their voice to heal, whether that's physically or emotionally or energetically. And but yeah, people who speak a lot, for example, or notice that while they are speaking, they're holding back.
mm,
So that's also a part of the medicine of your voice method that I developed to address that part that's holding back, what's holding back. And I mentioned that before. And I'm also a life coach. So I'm combining different modalities in the medicine of your voice method. So sometimes I'm the life coach and sometimes I'm the vocal coach, yeah, or the voice teacher. Yeah. So there's the voice and there's life. And though the voice is everywhere. Yeah. And the sound of my own voice, I can use the sound of my own voice to soothe myself. Yeah. Humming, for example, just humming has a tremendous effect on the nervous system. Yeah, it's just calming down the nervous system. Yeah, so if we are in the sympathetic and we are like all agitated and the nervous system is just charged, humming can help to calm us down. Yeah.
Mm.
So it has physical aspects, yeah, when we are working with our own voice. Yeah. Or working with a musician or a singer or an artist who doesn't necessarily need to get coaching on the songs or singing, but has stage fright.
Mm.
What am I going to do to calm myself down before singing so that the voice has space to really open up? Yeah. So those are all areas of the medicine of your voice method. In that method, what I did, I created 4 pillars. So it's 4 pillars and it's a structure. And I called it a method because it's a method and it works. And it goes from meditation and activating the physical body, because that's the instrument. Sometimes when I ask people, so what do you think where do you think the voice is coming from? And I heard everything from it's coming from the stars, from the moon, but it's actually a physical process. So the medicine of your voice method is all about the physical body, because no matter what our story is around the voice, and everyone has a story. It's quite fascinating. If I ask people, what's your story? Whether that's a physical issue or block in the stomach or block in the throat or being timid or whatsoever, the physical body is always a great place to come and settle and explore, and to really, this is the place, this is your place. Because there is a lot of fear around the voice. Yeah, people have been told to shut up, there you are out of tune, don't open your mouth, be quiet, like all these kind of things. Of course, not always. Also, people, they received great support in opening their voice. Yeah, but the voice is very powerful. Yeah, so we can use it as a tool for communication and performance or manifestation. There were
Okay.
great voices in on this planet who manifest, like Martin Luther King. If you hear of those speaking voices that really had an impact, yeah, it's powerful to notice that how the voice can be a tool for manifestation and an instrument for healing and for transformation. Yeah, because for example, if I work with someone who has been traumatized around the voice and is very quiet, but really wants to speak up or wants to sing a song and really wants to work on it, the working with the physical body is always okay. This is our home. And this is also where the healing has to happen. There's no, where else should the healing happen than in the physical body? Yeah. So we can't think ourselves into healing. It has to come through the physical body. Yeah. Of course, there's a connection, very strong connection when it comes to thoughts, for example, but those are also just voices. So it never ends when working with the voice. Yeah. And then there are warm up exercises, vocal exercises, which can be also very transformative. Because even if someone comes and says, I want to learn how to sing better, great. Let's do some exercises through the breathing, because we have to breathe and the sound. 99.9% of the people have some sort of experience
Mm.
when going through these exercises, because it's not, I didn't create a classical voice training,
Mhm.
but because I was trained as an Indian classical musician in India, many of the exercises I've learned there and have transformed or helped me to open up to experience sound in the body, I've took those, transformed them a little bit, added, and provided them to the people here. And of course, there's a constant new exploration of new exercises, according to what I'm experiencing, according to what's happening on the planet. What do people need? The greatest university is like people passing through my life for the last 20 years. And what was important for people 20 years ago has changed, and I have changed as well. So it's constantly renewing itself. So that's why it's so exciting. It's never done. Yeah, the voice work. Yeah, it's always
You
needed.
know, just in your sharing, I'm just going back and you look at, music classes we've taken as kids. Like, wouldn't it be great if they sort of have this connection of what is music, um, the power of our voice, how it can restore, heal, motivate. But, we go to school, okay, all right, everybody sing the song. And just for the sake of singing, we're just singing. And maybe some of that will help students and kids break free and use their voice. But what if there was this, true lessons, like you said, right, Bettina, where a teacher can actually redefine the power of a voice and what it is and what it can do, and how the connection is from here, from the body, and how it can heal. It's the school system is one where there's a lot of fear. We got to keep everything the same way.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if I had my own school, I would hire you and say, all right, Tina, go for it, share your wisdom, and this is what we need you know
Well, yeah, and it really starts at home. I also train people in the medicine of your voice method.
uh,
And, one of my trainees who's certified now, she has two little boys. Yeah, as they grow up, and I see them growing up, of course, they are wild. Yeah, they're
yeah.
boys. But because she is so into doing sounds, singing songs. Yeah, there's now circle time every day in her house. Yeah, and the kids love it. Yeah,
Mm,
when is circle time? Yeah, she calls it circle time, where it can be just 10 minutes. Yeah,
yeah.
but it's the exposure to a connection through sound, through the voice. Yeah, and so it's like a drop of water on a hot stone. Yeah.
Mm.
And though, um, yes, in schools and also before school, like in the house. Yeah. That's what is really needed as well. Yeah. Is that the parents,
It's true.
um,
It's true.
s-
It's not only the school system, but it's also what they say: the apple doesn't fall far from the tree, right? So if parents, family members have wounds, they don't know what to do. It just gets passed on to the next generation. There's always that one person in each family that's sort of like the dark horse, that sort of clears, and everybody thinks that's the most weirdest person in our family, but that weirdest person in the family is doing all the healing and
the dark
uplift.
horse, we call it the black sheep.
That's the word I was
The
looking
dark
for.
horse.
Yeah,
I like that. The
yeah,
dark horse.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, the sheep, absolutely. And there's always that one person who is doing the lifting for many, and because of them, the healing is starting. Do you have any stories, from your I don't know, clients slash patients who've gone through this method and how it's empowered them, changed their way of thinking, or even healing? Do you have any like stories? I'm putting you on the spot here of people you've worked with.
Yeah, I have a lot of stories.
Oh,
Yes, I mean, I have literally seen and witnessed transformation.
mm,
And that's why I'm so grateful, because I see it's working. And it's not because of me and my method, but because people are willing to. So that's, Banu, something very important. Yeah, there are all kinds of categories of people. Some people, and everyone, or not everyone, but there's a big group of people, they say, I need healing, I want to heal.
yeah.
But then to really do the work, yeah, is something different, and it has to do with practice. And it's not the rigid practice that I had to go through, 8 hours a day with my teacher from the morning to the evening, the same thing, and I just wanted to run away. But practice in the sense of, okay, having the time and having the patience, yeah, and the diligency to observe and to be present with the voice, yeah, and to create space for that. And that's actually the issue for many people who live in the modern society, running from one thing to the other. But yeah, I have this example of someone who has been mute, yeah, has been mute, quiet after a traumatic event.
Oh, so they were
Yeah,
silenced, you mean? Like they wouldn't
silence.
talk? Okay,
Yes.
got it. Yeah.
And when I started to work with that person, the first session, it was one-on-one in the computer. I didn't know what to do. Yeah, that woman couldn't even breathe.
Mm.
It was, yeah, difficult and challenging to, as a facilitator, okay, what am I going to do with this now, and to just be present with that silence. Yeah. And it's a person who we became really good friends,
Mm.
and where I thought after the first session, okay, that's it, I won't ever see her again because nothing really happened. That's what I thought. But she kept on signing up for
Oh,
years.
really?
Yes. And so from a person who was like closed, even the body was
Yeah.
closed, there was nothing really happening, no movement. She became this singing person, hosting singing events, singing with her family, talking. Yeah. So eh, yes, it was because we encountered each other, we met, but she also committed to stay with the exercises and to practice,
Mm.
because she could feel in her body how things are changing slowly. It was a slow process, but it happened. Yeah. So now, of course, she's like, okay, everyone, who wants, yeah, she's trained in this voice work and wants to share her experience. And that's how it works. Yeah. If I have a life-changing experience, or I find a modality or something that really helps,
Mm.
that really, I've done everything, yeah,
Yeah.
from, and still, yeah, family constellation, this gestalt, this, like every, and then something that, this really again and again transforms, because transformation is not, okay, now everything is transformed, that is,
Mm.
yeah, it's done. Transformation is a process, it doesn't stop.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if there's something that always brings me some sort of calmness and peace and joy, that's huge, because that's where we need to be to transform.
Yeah.
Yeah. So sometimes I feel the voice work as such is not really what is transformative. You are transformative. In the moment you are in a state of calmness and relaxation, the nervous system is calm. So that is what voice work does.
And I
But the
guess
transformation is, you do your own transformation.
just listen to what you're saying. It seems like you provide them this space. Like you said, you had this patient come, and you were like, I don't know if they're ever going to come back again. But they did for years, and like you said, they became good friends. But you provided them this space almost where they can just be themselves, and through that, stuckness, and through being provided a space somewhere, somehow the nervous system allowed them to accept where they were, and then they break through,
Yeah,
right?
100%. Yes, yes. You just said it so beautiful. Just the to be yourself. I think that's a big thing. To be
Yeah.
yourself, and especially when it comes to working with the voice or with music or an instrument,
Mm.
school can be very rigid.
Oh, it can be. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but to just be. Yeah, and there is no bad voice or good voice or whatsoever. There's no pushing into something. It's just be yourself, and let's explore that.
Yeah.
That's where things start to open.
Yeah. I'm just looking at some of your quotes here. It says, I am a midwife of voice freedom. I'm devoted to the stillness of the center. And I think that sort of connects to what you were just saying, and me sort of, you know, s- listening and hearing and saying that, it's that space that's provided where then one becomes passionate and ready to sort of open and go through whatever's holding them back.
Yeah, and Banu, that brings me back to the beginning of our time together here today, where the stillness of the center.
Mm.
When I got diagnosed and became really ill, I felt the contraction of fear.
Mm.
Yeah, and it's a mortal diagnose. So I was thinking, okay, so now I'm gonna die, like
Oh.
now. Or I'm, how you
Which was
say,
real for you at that
exposed.
time.
Yes,
Yeah,
it was a
it
real
was.
sensation. It
Yeah.
was an exposure into something that I haven't experienced before, and the place that really helped me to relax was an inner place. There was no pain, there was no fear, yeah, and that there's a place within, and to feel that connection was just incredible. It was vital to my healing process. That beyond everything, there is always a place within that's basically untouchable, and that's the stillness of the center.
And that's the challenge that a lot of people have, and they don't know how to go to that place because this life that we call kids, they're living in the moment, they're able to express, be themselves, and then boom, everyone somehow gets affected. It could be through a family member, something happens at school, an association, whatever, and now they shut down. That shutting down could last for a day or 40 years.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
And
Mhm.
for each and every one, their situation is different. Could be connected to karma. I have no idea, but we do have that ability to, like you said, go through that filter and go to that quiet place and find that, and then break free from it. But that's challenging for many people. There's so much fear connected to that. What if this is going to happen? It's the body holding on to the wounds, like you said, those wounds and everything else. You know?
Yes. Yes, and I mean, I feel that I was touched by grace
Mm,
to 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 have that sensation in the moment of my diagnosis that I want to explore that.
yeah.
I'm not here to just get sick and die. I just knew that. And so I didn't know that it would be a journey for me and that I will actually um, develop the passion of being present with people going through transformational processes. I didn't sign up for. I mean, I think I never thought about that.
Mm,
I also didn't think I would become a musician or do what I'm doing today. It's not. It's nearly like not my doing
mm.
in the sense of I didn't have a career plan or something like this. Yeah, it's coming from a place of passion. And so I feel if we're looking at the state of the world, there are many people not that fortunate.
Mm.
Yeah, so we don't need to compare suffering. These people are suffer more and these are suffer less. Suffering is suffering. Yeah, and we are all in it in one or the other way. Yeah, it just depends on how we are looking at it. Yeah, but let's say if I had the capacity or still have the capacity to be present with what's happening here and to have the willingness and the energy and the force still to be with people on their journey, whatever the journey is, great. And I have no idea how long it's going to last. Maybe in 5 weeks I'm going to say, you know what, done. I'm going to bake bread and plant flowers, and that's
Yeah,
it. Nothing else. I have no idea.
absolutely. Just it's sort of like it seems like you found your dharma,
Yeah.
your gift almost to what you can do to support others in what needs to be done, and you found this vehicle through the voice. And I know, just the past over the weekend, I was listening to your tracks, and you know and uh, and part of the work that you do, one area is, you are also a musician, and then you have albums. And I remember speaking to you, I think last week, you even said there's another one there you're coming up with.
Hmm.
Can you just talk about this music that you've put together, and which is also available on your website? Does each album reflect an aspect of you, of your healing, or others? Where does the inspiration come from?
Yeah. Yeah. It's this new album is going to be the eighth album. So my first album I did in 2005, I think, or 2006. I can't remember. But yeah, it's 20 years of creating those albums. And of course, they do reflect a chapter in my life.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if I think about each album one after the other, I can look at my life.
Mm,
And of course, yeah, there are many things to it. Yeah. So yeah, 100%,
yeah.
100%.
Um, your latest album that you are working on, or it's coming
Mhm.
out, do you see it as like a final chapter, or is it just another journey? guidepost to where you're going to be moving on to. What's different from this album to your last one? Like, is there something? Is it more? I don't know. What is it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, I did one album with Narayan in 2016 called Ceremony.
Oh, okay. Actually, that's the
Yeah.
one that I was listening to. Actually, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So
yeah.
when I just say this, I know I'm back in that time. Yeah.
Mm,
And so that had a specific frequency, a specific time, living in Kauai on somewhere in the, on an isolated island. I mean, that's what I thought,
right.
which of course is not true. But, and then the next album, Journey Beyond, I did in 2020, and I started writing songs for that album just before COVID hit,
Ah.
so to speak. So some of those songs from that album were like in that COVID time, which for me it was a great time because everything paused and I could just sit and create music.
Mm,
Yeah. And so um, that was a beautiful collaboration between a friend of mine, Nick Barber, who's a beautiful musician and singer and also producer. He produced that album in England with me. And and now this album, of course, it's representing everything that I've lived in the last years since I brought out my last album. And what's different is just me. I'm different.
mm,
And I think this new album, when I was thinking about it, okay, um, what is the intention of the album and what's the essence of it? And the name of it is Gold.
okay.
Yeah,
Oh, gold. Ah.
Gold,
Mm,
which that name came to me on a walk here in the woods, and it was very much connected to that my German roots in terms of, gold is also a German word, and there's a old Germanic word which is gal or something, which means illumination. Yeah.
mm.
So
Wow.
Banu, whatever the
Wow.
story behind each album is, there's one thread and one line that connects all of them, whether it's the songs within each album, but they are always different. So this album is going to be very different than all the other albums. Just the music is going to be very different, much more world music, I call it. But the thread through it is again just creating a space
Mm,
that provides for us a way to travel
mm.
beyond our troubles, let's say, yeah, to the reconnecting again to that place, to the stillness of the center. Yeah.
And it's not like, you know how beautifully said, Bettina, it's not an escape where let me take a break from life. It's more of let's embrace, right?
Well, I mean, it depends on what we think what escape is, because if we are looking at that crazy world we are living in and we are constantly escaping into that, we are escaping from the real connection that's here.
Ah, I
That's
never
how
heard.
I see it. We are good, so distracted by all the things that we've created, the whole system that we've created to
Right.
distract and to actually escape from this.
Mm.
That's how I see it. And of course, then somebody more grounded and more would say, well, you're living a good life, meditating. No, no, that's not the real life. And so, well, it depends on how you look at it, what is
Right.
real and what's not real. It's
Yeah.
all one thing anyway. But
Mm.
I think we distract ourselves from actually being connected within. Yeah. And
Yeah.
I'm noticing that for many
Mm.
people, it's very difficult to actually sit quiet and really be with themselves. And there are many people who long for it and are willing to sit in the fire of just being with themselves, being with the body and all its pains, yeah, and with the pains of the mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, when we sit for a while, things will come up
Oh, it's true. It's true.
if you want it or not. Yeah. And so that's why we are running like crazy
Yeah.
from here to here, like chickens without heads, to
Yeah.
just, and then to have that
Mm.
peace. Yeah. To
Yeah.
have peace.
Like part of your journey has also allowed you to go and do Vipassana meditation as well too.
Yeah.
And I've done that myself, and where it's a retreat where you're quiet for 10 days, right? And
Yeah.
I remember we have a location right here, probably about 2 hours outside of Toronto, and sometimes when it's meant to be, it's meant to be. So we called. My sister was going through a very bad breakup, and
Mm.
uh, and I go, hey, I've heard something about Vipassana, or she said, I go, let me call and see if we can make a reservation. And I had called, and they're like, well, uh, you're calling. There's nothing next week. Like literally, I mean, people book 5 months in advance. But she goes, I'll keep you on the waiting list or something like that. And then the next day or two, I called again, or she had called. There's actually, you know what? There's actually two people canceled, and there's room for two. Do you guys want to come? We're like, yeah, sure, let's go. So I went with my sister. So the first thing they asked from me was like, okay, can you please give me your car keys? I'm like, why?
Yeah, yeah, right. And the phone.
Yeah, and the phone, because most people will try to escape. I go, look, if I made it this far, it's a test to my own willpower. I'm going to actually keep the keys right next to me and remind me that I cannot run away. So, with what you're just saying, Vipassana is a place where it organically forces you to be with yourself, to go within, and you watch your breathing, and how the body reacts, and you hear sermons and stories, and so with what you just said, it's like I think you helped me rephrase that. Most people want to escape, but actually we've escaped ourselves. And I like what you just said. That's amazingly nicely said. Yeah, you know.
Yeah, when it comes to structures and what we have been created, yeah, or the systems that we have been creating on this planet, yeah, and yeah, so and it causes so much stress, and we are in it, so we are here, and we did it, so now we just have to be with it. Yeah, there's no, of course, we can also talk about how this is not good and how that is not good and all of this, yeah, and in the same time um, to also trust that there's a reason why we've created this, and it's
Mm.
not they did it or they did it, we are one thing on this planet that's spinning around itself and shooting through the universe. That's what's really happening in the same time as we are, you know,
Yeah, it's true, right? That's absolutely
scratching
true.
our heads of
I
what are we doing? Well, that's actually what we are doing.
Oh my God, we're just a small little speck of dust in this whole makeup of this universe. As we sort of come to an end here,
Yeah.
Bettina, is there any question that I did not ask that I should have asked, or maybe I forgot to ask? Is there anything else I should have asked that you would like to share?
No, you ask great questions. I don't have anything in mind. I mean, I wanted to mention as well that I'm writing on another book. I've written a book about the medicine
Oh,
of your voice method.
okay.
So now with two other colleagues, I'm writing another book about life, about imagination, about the
Mm,
voice, about courage.
mm,
And just to complete this beautiful talk, because that's something I just wanted to mention from my perspective of, I'm in my mid 50s and I've lived most of I have maybe another 20 or 25 years, who knows, um, that for me right now, it's all about going from here forward,
mm.
yeah, into expansion. Yeah, that doesn't mean I'm not grieving or I don't carry my traumas, but I'm moving with those forward. Yeah, and I think there's something there in the healing, when it comes to healing, not to quickly heal and do all the trauma stuff so we can be happy and whatsoever, but even that there is change is required. Yeah, and so I want to open a voice here also for, the light into expansion, and that it's possible. Yeah, even we had to endure a lot or whatsoever, it is also a good moment to notice that everything is possible. And because it's the inner inside, change always happens inside.
That's right.
Yeah, so we are writing a book on that, inner transformation, whether that's for people who need healing or people who just need to change something in their lives. And I'm very excited about that,
You
because
should be.
uh,
Yeah.
purpose, yeah, like what's the purpose, what's next?
There's a lot of just there's a book called The Body Keeps the Score, I
Yeah,
believe.
yeah, Bessel.
People have read
Mhm.
that book and they've got healed. There's the power in books because, uh, now do you know it's more of like when the student is ready, the teacher will come. Teacher doesn't always have to be a physical being. It could be through
Mhm.
music. It could even be a book.
Totally.
So, and I hope this book, wakes people up and allows them to go within and heal. And you're the apparatus to put that together with your other colleagues. So, I
Yeah.
wish you success in that journey of yours.
Thank you, Banu.
Yeah, it was great having you on.
Yeah.
Bettina, I'm gonna add all your social handles so those who wanna, listen to some of the music and the soundtracks on your website, they certainly
Mhm.
can. And yeah, I'm really excited, or am excited that I was able to really connect with you. And I hear everything that Narayan had to say about you. You got a special journey, and part of that journey included me today to listen
Yeah,
to,
yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, you also have your special journey, and I was included in your journey today.
Yes, I was. You're absolutely correct. You're absolutely correct.
Mm.
Bettina, it was great, and we'll definitely connect again. So thanks for coming on. I really appreciate your time.
Thank you, Bano. Let's be in touch.